Hi everyone, today we are going to learn the conditionals. We also call it if clauses. It's a part of the adverbial clause of conditions. Conditional sentences are used to speculate about what could happen, what might have happened, and what we wish would happen. In English, most of the sentences using the conditional contain the word if. Conditionals also express a possible condition, a hypothetical condition, and an unreal past condition and their probable results. There are 5 main ways of constructing conditional sentences in English. In all cases, these sentences are made up of an if clause and a main clause. In many negative conditional sentences, there is an equivalent sentence construction using unless instead of if. There are 5 types of conditionals in English. Zero type, which talks about general truths, real and possible situations. Type 1, it's an open condition, which talks about probable or possible condition in the present. Type 2, a hypothetical condition or an imaginary condition or an improbable condition. Type 3, an impossible condition or an unreal past condition or an unfulfilled condition. Finally, the mixed type, an unreal past condition and its probable result in the present and in the past. Spotlight. Whenever you see an if clause at the beginning of the sentence, you must put a comma after it. But if you see or if you use a main clause first, you do not need a comma. Now let us learn the construction of zero type condition and its uses. Zero type conditionals. Let us see the form of it. In zero conditionals, the tense in both parts of the sentence is the simple present. There are 2 parts in zero conditional sentence: the if or when or unless clause and the main clause. The if or when or unless clause is the conditional and the main clause is the result of the if clause. Let us learn the structure of zero conditionals. Structure or the tense we call it. Subordinate clause, or we also call it if clause. Let us see the form of it and the main clause of it. We can use if, when or unless to express zero condition. The subordinate clause or if clause formula is subject plus first form of the verb, we also call it V1 form, plus object. We also call it the simple present form. Main clause, the result, subject plus first form of the verb, we also call it V1 form plus object, the simple present. Sometimes we also can use imperative sentences in zero conditions. Let us learn some examples. If you heat ice, it melts. Ice melts if you heat it. In the first example, if clause has started at the beginning of the sentence, so I added a comma after it. In the second example, main clause has started in the beginning, so I don't need to add a comma after it. Let us learn the function of the zero conditional. It is used to make statements about the real world, a routine, a habit, often refers to general truths or scientific facts. It also gives instructions or strong advice. In these sentences, the time is now or always, and the situation is real and possible. Let us learn some examples of it. If you freeze water, it becomes a solid piece. Example 2. Plants die if they don't get enough water. Example 3. If the public transport is efficient, people stop using their cars. Example 4. If you mix red and blue, you get purple. Example 5. If you don't water plants, they die. The zero conditional is also often used to give instructions using the imperatives in the main clause. Let us learn the structure and some examples of it. the subordinate clause, and the main clause as we have learned in the previous. Let us learn some examples of it. If Rakesh phones, tell him to meet me at the Inox. Example 2. Ask Praveen if you are not sure what to do. Example 3. If you want to come, call me before 5 p.m. Example 4. If it's cold outside, wear a jacket. Example 5. If I am late for dinner, they start eating without me. Unless means the same as if not. It also used in zero conditionals. Let us see the format and some examples with unless. The format is same as we have learned earlier. Let us learn some examples of it. Example 1. Unless he asks you politely, refuse to do any more work on the project. Example 2. Unless you mix red paint in yellow paint, you don't get orange paint. Example 3. We go to work tomorrow unless something unexpected happens. Example 4. The garden party is on unless it rains. When is also used instead of if in only zero conditions. Let us learn the formula and some examples of it by using when. The formula is same as we have learned earlier. Let us learn some examples. Example 1. When you heat ice, it melts. Ice melts when you heat it. Example 2. When people eat too much, they get fat. Example 3. When you travel to Andhra Pradesh, go to RK Beach. Example 4. When I don't clean my room, my mom gets angry.